All throughout the history of cinema, there have been movies causing controversy and negative media coverage. But unlike the average controversial film, some productions really went too far, causing some serious havoc, resulting in a ban in several countries. In this video, we're giving you a roundup of the top 10 banned movies of all time. Number 10. Borat. Borat is a 20th Century Fox comedy released in 2006 and centers around a Kazakhstani journalist named Borat who meets Americans from all walks of life and gains a lot of hype for his misogynistic and anti-Semitic remarks. The release of Borat infuriated the Kazakhstani officials who thought the movie presented Kazakhstan in a negative light, and they were urging cinemas not to show it. Eventually, it ended up being banned from all Arab countries except Lebanon. The Dubai censorship board called it vile, gross, and extremely ridiculous. They claimed that only 30 minutes of the movie would remain if they actually sat down and censored it. Number 9. Cannibal Holocaust. Cannibal Holocaust is about a team of anthropologists that go missing in the Amazon rainforest while filming a documentary on the indigenous cannibal tribes. Due to its very graphic violent content, including sexual assault and aggression towards animals, Cannibal Holocaust was banned internationally, particularly in Italy and Australia, because of their strict animal cruelty laws. In Italy, the creators were even ordered by the judges to be arrested on charges of obscenity. There were also rumors that several actors had been killed during the filming. These rumors were based on a notorious impalement scene that seems too real to be just acting. Number 8. The Exorcist. The Exorcist was internationally the highest-grossing movie of 1973, and for good reasons. It is considered one of the most unsettling movies ever made in the horror genre. The Exorcist has suffered from one of the longest bans in the history of cinema. In the UK, it was only allowed to be played in cinemas in the year 1999, 25 years after it was originally released in 1973. There were reports of people walking out of the cinema or running to throw up in the restrooms after watching the trailer of the movie. Some movie screenings had actually triggered hysteria amongst people who already believed in the reality of demonic possession, and that was pretty much enough for censorship boards to ban the movie. The ban was finally lifted in 1999 by the UK censorship boards because the movie no longer had the same impact as it had 25 years ago. Number 7. Fat Girl. Fat Girl is a French drama film about the sexual attitudes and experiences of two sisters, ages 15 and 12. Elena, the older sister, is gorgeous and attracts a lot of attention from men, while her overweight little sister looks on with jealous eyes. It is a brutally truthful story written by a French woman who is fascinated by the physical and psychological aspects of sex. The movie is loaded with explicit images and brutal questions about youth and sexuality, with a very violent plot twist at the end. This movie offended most of its audience, which earned it a lot of controversy. Ontario was the first country to fully ban Fat Girl because of its representations of teenage sexuality and rape. Worldwide, however, the movie was restricted to adult audiences, but still played in theaters. Number 6. Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS. Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS is a film about a Nazi commander who is as violent in the sheets as she is in the streets. Ilsa picks a new male partner to bed with every single night, and if they aren't what she wants, she tortures them very graphically and sometimes even sends them to the chair. When it comes to women, Ilsa subjects them to inhuman experiments in order to prove to her superiors that women, too, can be enlisted as soldiers and sent to war. Ilsa suffered international bans from Germany, Australia, Norway, and the UK. Number 5. The Interview. The Interview is a 2014 political satire film where two journalists land an interview with the North Korean dictator, Kim Jong-un, and then they are tasked by the CIA to assassinate him. As you can imagine, North Korea was not happy about that. In June 2014, the North Korean government threatened stern and merciless action against the USA if the film was released. In 2014, Kim Yong-chol, an official spokesman for the North Korean government, said that the interview shows the desperation of the US government and American society. Shortly before the release of the movie, an activist group called Guardians of Peace hacked Sony and threatened to hack every cinema showing that movie. Yikes! Number 4. I Spit on Your Grave. This film is another on the list that was banned widely for glorifying sexual violence against women. It was banned in Ireland, Norway, Canada, Iceland, Australia, and even West Germany. Canada's ban lasted for 8 years. In 1988, Canada allowed Nova Scotia, Manitoba, and Quebec to release the films. In Australia, the film was banned in 1987, 5 years after its release of American version in the country, because it depicted sexual violence in the form of castration. 7 years down the road, when it was decided that castration is not sexual violence, the ban was lifted. In the UK, the film was branded a video nasty. In 2001, it popped up on the UK government's list of prosecutable films, and the filmmakers had to release a heavily cut version of it to make sure it was played. Number 3. The Last House on the Left. The Last House on the Left is a movie about a gang of rapists who end up finding refuge at the house of one of their many victims, and when the parents discover their identity, they plan a very gruesome revenge. The movie shows, very graphically, the scenes of rape and gunshot violence, and a very Sylvia Plath level of murder as well. This movie was banned in the UK for depictions of sadism, rape, and violence, although its uncut versions were released for home videos. The ban on the uncut version was lifted only in 2008. Number 2. Monty Python's Life of Brian. Monty Python's Life of Brian is a British comedy born on the same day as Jesus and spends his life being mistaken for the Messiah. Because of its themes of religious satire, the film drew in a lot of controversies at the time of its release, including accusations of blasphemy and protests from religious groups. The film was outright banned in Norway and Ireland, a fact that was used by Sweden to further advertise the film. In the UK, 40 local authorities banned it straight up or rated it X or PG-18. Our number 1 pick is The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre follows a group of friends who visit an old homestead and fall victim to a family of cannibals. While the movie overall was fictional, some elements were based on real life, like the character of Leatherface, a man who is mute and wears a mask made out of human skin. Plus, some violence in the movie was based on the murder of Ed Gein. In the UK, the film was banned in cinema a year into its release, and while that ban was in place, the word chainsaw became controversial as well, and many creators in the horror and thriller genre had to rethink the titles of their movies. The ban was eventually lifted in the 1990s. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre was censored internationally as well, in countries like Brazil, Chile, Finland, Iceland, Norway, Singapore, West Germany, and Australia. However, all of these bans were eventually lifted. Do you agree with our list? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and be the first to receive new Top 10 videos from Stream TV.